Please state your name and occupation.
Alex, I'm a director at JLEX Networks.
Michael Foti, property investor developer.
Name.
Maria,
And your occupation.
property consultant.
Instead of having to buy parts, you can have them made on site. For larger companies that have big infrastructure, then they could just print out the parts instead of having to wait for them to arrive. Little things like cases or broken keys on keyboards, that kind of stuff.
Do you have that a lot in your industry where you have to replace keyboards?
A lot of people break the stuff that they use.
So that could be a new avenue of revenue for you, or just
Yes.
more convenient.
3D printing gets cheap enough.
Because I could print out the model of the property that I want to show to prospective clients.
For property developing, you can actually produce 3D models to prospective clients, banks, etc. So you can look around the model rather than just have it on a screen. So it has that possibility.
It'd be good for stuff around the house that breaks, like door handles and little things that you'd have to go and buy a new one of. You just go and print out a replacement version.
And after viewing the website, what would you say is the price point in which you'd adopt 3D printing? What would have to happen?
Personally, I wouldn't adopt it until it was below £300 for a printer, but I think the widespread adoption would need to be below £100 entry point, like normal printers are for PCs.
And what about in terms of the networks available online? What would you need there? Like, would you want to develop your own software? Would there have to be communities available?
You need a community where you could download plans for various things that you print out commonly. If you had to code everything manually, or create everything manually, then it would kind of defeat the point.
Well, it has to be useful. I can't see any applications. What I would want is that I would want somebody to tell me what are the applications of using 3D printing.
What about online communities that have forums set up to discuss 3D printings and provide design so you can print off?
Yeah, I think I would need education at this stage. Because 3D printing is such a new concept. I can see it in maybe in property where you can print out a building or a development in 3D. But as a home user, how would I use it for practical purposes? I mean, one thing could be I lose a door handle. I mean, would I print off a door handle, or would I go to the local B&Q or Homebase and buy one? I can't see myself printing off a handle because it would be in plastic, it wouldn't be the right colour, it probably wouldn't have the right properties. So it's good for touching and feeling and seeing something in three-dimensional basis, but in terms of day-to-day practicality, somebody would need to educate me to actually tell me how I would actually find it useful.
So you'd say maybe a few big companies to go out there and provide an advertising campaign and more features on it.
Yes, it's a bit like being presented with a fax machine. The first person who had a fax machine thought to himself, well, what am I going to do with this? There's nobody I can send faxes to. There's no real application. But later on, the application was that you send documents that are signed, that are around the world. It's just fantastic. But people find it difficult to actually work out what these applications are when new technology comes through. I'm finding it difficult. So for a home user, I would need to be educated.
It would save me a lot of time. So for example, if I want to have a printout of a dress that I'm thinking of wearing to an event, then I can print the design and the model and show it to my friends and say, do you think this will be suitable for the event or the wedding or the gala that I need to go to?
And in terms of costs, how much would you be willing to pay if they came into the market?
I have no idea how much it would cost, but certainly I would compare, for example, what I pay architects at the moment to do a mock-up of a potential building, and then compare the cost to what it would cost me to print it out myself.
And as a home user, if you wanted it at home, how would you talk about
Home use hairdresser, I think the cost would just be in terms of my time saving. So, you know, if I've got to spend half a day going shopping to find an outfit as opposed to 20 minutes printing one out and emailing it to my friends, then yes, that's considerable time saving.